In 1979, there was a moment when one R&B group became so massive. They were competing with rock bands for world dominance. Not soul groups, not funk bands, rock bands. Their concerts sold out arenas across the planet. Their albums exploded across every chart imaginable. Their stage shows looked like science fiction movies. And for a few years, they may have been the greatest live band on earth. But somehow, modern music conversations barely mention them. You hear their songs every day, at weddings, movies, basketball games, cookouts, TikTok videos. But younger generations rarely know who made them. And that's strange. Because without this group, modern R&B might sound completely different. This wasn't just another soul act. This was a musical empire, a spiritual movement, a futuristic black band that turned positivity into power. This is the story of how Earth, Wind, and Fire became bigger than Motown, and why history slowly stopped talking about them. Number 7, the secret that made them timeless, 1520. But maybe the real reason Earth, Wind, and Fire survived for decades is because their music carried something modern music often lacks. Not fake happiness, real emotional uplift. Their records felt alive, warm, human, spiritual, and in an era where so much music feels dark, their catalog feels almost healing. That's why multiple generations still play their songs. Parents pass them to children. Families replay them forever. Very few artists achieve that, because timeless music usually requires one thing: truth. And Earth, Wind, and Fire believe deeply in what they created. You can feel it. Number 6, why history moved on, 1320. So why doesn't Earth, Wind, and Fire get discussed the same way as other legendary acts? Part of the answer is uncomfortable. Modern music culture loves tragedy. Think about how often conversations focus on addiction, violence, Sesquindalees, feuds, destruction. Earth, Wind, and Fire represented almost the opposite. Positivity, discipline, spirituality, joy. There was no endless chaos surrounding them. And because of that, their story became less dramatic for media narratives. Another reason? Their influence became invisible. When artists influence everyone, people stop noticing the original source. You hear Earth, Wind, and Fire everywhere. In Bruno Mars' records in modern funk, revival in disco-inspired pop and gospel arrangements and R&B harmonies. But newer audiences often hear the descendants, without tracing the bloodline back to the creators. That happens to legends sometimes. Their impact becomes so massive, it dissolves into culture itself. Number 5, September changed everything, 11:15. Then came the song that accidentally made them immortal. September. What makes September fascinating is that it almost feels too perfect. The groove, the horns, the joy, the energy. It sounds like happiness itself. And here's the crazy part. The lyrics barely even matter. Nobody cares what Badia actually means, because the feeling became universal. That song escaped music entirely. It became culture. Now it plays at weddings, birthday parties, sporting events, commercial smoothie as family reunions. Everywhere. And ironically, that may have hurt their legacy, because September became so famous. People stopped thinking about the group behind it. The song survived, but the historical conversation faded. Number 4. The greatest live show nobody remembers, 8:45. Now, this is where Earth, Wind, and Fire became truly untouchable. Their concerts. Most younger fans today cannot understand how shocking those shows were in the 1970s. Remember, this was before massive digital screens, CGI arena technology, advanced concert effects. And somehow, Earth, Wind, and Fire were already doing things that looked impossible. Magicians worked on their tours. Literally, band members disappeared on stage. Flying pyramids appeared. Levitation tricks happened live. Entire stage transformations shocked audiences. People walked into those concerts expecting music and left feeling like they witnessed another dimension. At one point, their touring production became one of the most expensive in music history. Not for an R&B act, for any act. That's how huge they became. And unlike many bands with giant productions, they actually had the musicianship to back it up. That's important, because underneath all the spectacle, Earth, Wind, and Fire were elite musicians, some of the best in the world. Number 1, the black supergroup America wasn't ready for, 6 o'clock. By the mid-1970s, Earth, Wind, and Fire exploded. Albums like That's the Way of the World Spirit All, In Alley AM turned them into global superstars. But something deeper was happening underneath the success. Earth, Wind, and Fire represented a version of black excellence rarely seen at that scale. Think about America during that era. The country was still dealing with racial division, political tension, economic instability, post-civil rights frustration. And then suddenly, here comes a black band performing like cosmic royalty. Not struggling, not broken, not begging for acceptance. Powerful, confident, elegant, futuristic. That mattered psychologically, especially for black audiences. Maurice White intentionally used Egyptian imagery, spirituality, African symbolism, mysticism, because he wanted black audiences to feel connected to greatness. Not oppression. That's a huge reason fans connected to them emotionally. Earth, Wind, and Fire didn't just entertain people. They elevated people. Number 2, why they sounded like nobody else. When Earth, Wind, and Fire first appeared, they confused people. Seriously, nobody knew how to categorize them. Were they soul, funk, jazz, disco, gospel, rock? The answer was somehow all of them. Maurice White built the band almost like a scientist. Every instrument had a purpose. The horns exploded like fireworks. The bass lines moved like funk. The harmonies sounded heavenly. The percussion carried African influence. Then came Philip Bailey. And everything changed, because Philip Bailey's falsetto sounded impossible. It didn't sound human sometimes. It floated above the music like another instrument. The contrast between Maurice White's grounded voice and Philip Bailey's angelic falsetto created musical chemistry that became legendary. That duality became their secret weapon. Earth and sky, power and beauty, funk and spirituality. That's why the band felt bigger than music. They felt mythical. Number 1, the man who saw the future. Before Earth, Wind, and Fire, there was a young drummer from Chicago named Maurice White. And Maurice White wasn't normal. Even as a child, people noticed something different about him. He wasn't obsessed with fame. He was obsessed with sound. He studied jazz, classical music, African rhythms, spiritual philosophy, everything. By the late 1960s, Maurice was already respected inside the industry. He worked as a session drummer at the legendary Chess Records. That meant he was around greatness constantly. But Maurice wanted more than just being a musician behind the scenes. He wanted to build something revolutionary. Not just black music, not just R&B, something universal. And here's what made him dangerous. Maurice White understood something most artists didn't. Music wasn't only about sound. Music was psychology, emotion, energy, spirituality. That idea became the DNA of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you think Earth, Wind, and Fire are underrated today? And what's the greatest song they ever made? Subscribe to Days of the Old for more forgotten music legends and untold stories. They never really disappeared. 1700 hours. The strange thing about Earth, Wind, and Fire is that they never actually disappeared. The world just stopped noticing how much of modern music still belongs to them. Their fingerprints are everywhere. Every joyful horn section, every funk-inspired pop record, every huge R&B stage production, every uplifting groove. Pieces of Earth, Wind, and Fire still exist inside all of it. And maybe that's the final irony. The group bigger than Motown became so influential. People forgot where the magic started. But legends don't disappear. They echo through generations. And Earth, Wind, and Fire are still echoing today.